In this episode, we're going to roast some squash, burn some peppers and caramelise some feta cheese. Then we're going to combine it all together and top it off with a lovely sherry and lemon dressing. To start, grab your squash. Just going to top and tail it. Some people like to keep the skin on, but I'm not a fan, so we're going to peel it. And then just cut it straight down the middle. He says straight. There we go. Nice even slices. Stick them into a roasting dish. Now these don't take very long to cook, probably about 20-30 minutes. But what we're going to do is once they're cooked, we're going to pull them out, cool them down a little bit so that we can make that nice warm salad, because we don't want the hot squash to wilt all the herbs. Bit of garlic. Fair amount of salt. Remember, squash is quite sweet and you don't want to kill that with too much salt. Got a little bit of honey here, and squash really, really loves honey. So I'm going to put a fair little squeeze over the top. And squash also loves a bit of smoky flavour, so what I've got here is a bit of smoked paprika. So just a fairly hefty pinch over the top of there. I don't know if you can see that. And a little bit of black pepper as well. And then finally over the top, a nice drizzle of olive oil. Beautiful. Then just give that a nice little muddle around. We'll stick that into the oven at 170 degrees. And that should take about 25 to 30 minutes. So the next thing is we're going to grab a couple of peppers and we are going to burn the hell out of them. So stick them straight onto your gas hob if you've got one. You can do this under the grill if you haven't got a gas hob, but you want as much heat under them as possible. And do not be scared. They're going to go black, they're going to burn, they're going to pop, but it doesn't matter. That's what you want. So while they're burning, grab yourself a bowl. It doesn't have to be metal, you can use any old bowl. And as soon as they are black or nicely charred like that, you're going to stick them in the bowl, cover them in cling film and put them in the fridge. Whoa. Absolutely perfect. So we'll just leave them to one side to cool. So we're just going to make a really light dressing for the squash salad. It's so simple. It's as you would normally make a salad dressing, but we're going to try and make a nice thick one. So, nice big spoonful of Dijon mustard, salt, pepper, and what I always like, is, especially when I'm doing an olive oil dressing, is a little pinch of sugar, because it just takes the edge off the olive oil. Sherry vinegar, a fair amount. And give that a little whisk to bring it all together. And I like a nice emulsified dressing, which means that it will be nice and thick and will all come together, rather than having the sort of vinegar and the oil separate. So in order to do that, once you've whisked up your mustard, add just a tiny, tiny drop of your olive oil. C'est ça. Give it a good old whisk. If your bowl's moving around like mine is, just get a nice tea towel, stick it under the bowl. That should stop it jangling about too much. Just keep on whisking, 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 whisking. Now just to bring out some of the sweetness from the squash, we're going to add a little squeeze of lemon juice. And as always, just give it a little taste. That's good. I'd say it could take a little bit more sweetness. That olive oil is really kind of like deep and earthy, slightly bitter. So just a tiny bit more sugar. And there we go. That's the dressing for your squash. The final element for this dish is the feta cheese. Pop it onto your baking tray. Let it dry. Any of the sort of like feta-y juice that runs off, pat it dry with some kitchen towel or tea towel. And what we're going to do is we're going to grill this at the absolute highest heat. What you're looking for is a nice sort of golden kind of burnt crust on it. And once you can see that, take it out and leave it to one side. So now it's time to bring it all together and build the salad. Now if you want, and I want, we've got these beautiful roasted halves of garlic. Let's use those, so just squash it out into the same pan. Give it a little muddle. And pop that into the dish. Then, don't forget, we had those peppers that we burnt the hell out of, and now they're ready to be peeled. So just give your hands a little wash. Pop them open. And with any luck, the skin should just rub off like that. It doesn't matter if you have a little bit left on. The burnt skin is flavour. I'm a big fan of anything burnt. And we're just going to tear off these little bits of pepper. There we go. So a little bit of basil over the top, a little bit of parsley over the top, and a little bit of the chives. Now give that a nice muddle with your hands. Don't be afraid to get stuck in. Break off some little slabs of the burnt feta, the more rustic looking the better. And then we've got that beautiful sherry and lemon dressing. Just pour it over the top. And that's our little warm squash salad. Perfect for a light lunch with some crusty bread or as a companion to some slow roast lamb.